Hi, Wild. See you in Twitch chat. Hello, everyone coming in. We're going to be getting started in just a moment. Thank you for your patience today. Just need to tweak a couple more things and we'll be all ready. Hi, Royals. Hi, Shiro. Lewis. Hello, hello, everybody. This is also being restreamed on YouTube and Twitch. So if any of those are your preferred platforms for viewing or listening, those are now available to you. You can go onto the YouTube page, find the live stream there, or you can click on my name to go right into the Twitch live stream. I gotta figure out if I can get the YouTube streams bound to my profile as well. Can't see that yet. I I guess can keep the redeem on. I do want to disable your stuff though. Alrighty, welcome in everybody. My name's Neily, developer, founder for the Recruitment project. Today I am joined here with my advisor, Jocab. Mr. Cab, do you have speaker privileges? Oh wait, I think I'm bugged out. Um, why can't I hear you? Yeah, just a little deaf. Okay, there we go. I thought this was all good before I stopped. Or wait, do I have... No, it's in the right spot. Hmm. Because I can't even hear you right now, which is weird. I do apologize, everyone, for the audio issues I'm having. However, if you would like to start sending in your questions now, Jocab can start taking questions down, and then we can get started. Okay, I have a different idea. What if I just do this instead? There do be music.
There is. Crazy. Oh, you hear me now.
Yep, there we go. Okay. Yippee! I'm gonna put a limiter too. That way we're the same.
This is crazy.
Neily actually using OBS tools? That's wild. Or wait, why am I saying... I think I'm saying two from the same now. Okay, I think I can just do that instead. That works. Alright, geez. Did not expect that much trouble to start. Do apologize. Jocab, one more test word, please.
Hello.
Alright, fantastic. We are ready to begin. Final apologies, everybody. I hope you've all had a great month. It's been a little while since we last talked. If you do have any new questions, please feel free to leave them in the chat, whether that is in the Twitch, YouTube, or Discord channels. We'll be cycling through all of them to keep an eye on each questions, make sure everybody gets their questions answered, and hopefully in appropriate time. Due to the little bit of delay on my end, we'll be extending the Q&A for another 10 minutes, so it won't be ending directly on the hour, so we'll probably end it around like 6:15 to compensate.
Okay.
Alright, Jocab, what is the first question of August?
The first question of August is from CG38. I have a question. I'm new to the Brave Frontiers game. How the old game was. What should I expect from the recoded version?
So with Recoded, you can expect a much more free-to-play system in place, since we cannot have monetization, as it would be a big legal issue for us, both with the developers and law as a whole. So with Recoded, you can expect gems to be much more bountiful and easily obtainable, whether that's through completing quests as before, through a daily login campaign, or any other additional methods of earning gems. Everything that you knew from the original Brave Frontier will be coming back better than ever, with bug fixes, better audio, thanks to our sound advisor Jocab. If you have not peeked that last update, update 25, I highly recommend you go check that out. And all of the work that our other developers behind the scenes have been doing to deliver the community a much greater and fulfilling Brave Frontier experience.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Recently with the new devs, shit's been rolling.
Absolutely.
As we can say.
One of our, well, really all of our developers, honestly, but they've all just been cranking out so much content for you guys. So come the end of the year finale for December, we got a lot of stuff to share with you guys. So stay tuned for that.
Okay, the next question is from Blaze Aegis Leston. Do you have any plans to simplify farming items, such as adding a toggle for items at the end of levels, so that only the items you want actually go into your inventory? This would be so that your inventory slots are not clogged by items you do not want, and you don't have to constantly spend time cleaning your inventory every few slots. Example, farming mid-tier areas for the raid items, but not wanting the 4 other items that drop from an area.
Totally understandable. I can definitely see the inventory management becoming a bit more limited, having all those resources that you don't necessarily need. We haven't gone too deep into inventory management yet, but it is something that we lightly talked about, where after you complete a quest, there'll be a short window before it progresses through all the units you acquired and all the items you acquired. You would need to hit the next button to proceed to that, but while you're on that screen, you'd be able to tap on the unit, and X button will appear, or sorry, the unit or item, an X button will appear over that unit or item, and then you can cancel that out, or sorry, not cancel it out, you can sell it for extra Zell or Karma before the mission is completely cleared. Granted, this is not something that we're looking for to have in alpha or beta, but it is something that we have discussed.
Well, from 43 Hero Star. On the off chance that Recoded gets to collab with other media, what do you want the first collab to be?
Ooh, what do I want the first collab to be? Um, I talked briefly in the Discord the other day about Gundam because I heard a song, anime opening from what was it? Gundam Witch from Mercury. I think that's what it was called. Something along those lines. Forgive me, but I think a Gundam collab would be pretty cool. I think there's a lot of potential to have with that. Uh, Me personally, I think I would like to either approach Dust and Elysian Tail as a potential collab, having Dust and Fidget as a character, or we look into Katana Zero and have both Zero and 15 as playable characters. Both games of which I highly, highly recommend. I could not begin to express how much I think everybody should go check that out. Two massive goated indie games, both $20 and infinite pleasure, replayability in my opinion.
Right, next, we have 3 questions.
Actually, wait, hold on. Jocab, what would you want as a potential collab?
Oh, I need probably something pixel art styled, but I don't know.
Maybe Night in the Woods?
I mean, I didn't play Night in the Woods that much. I actually didn't play the game at all. I just watched a playthrough. That's not pixel art styled either.
Oh yeah, it doesn't mean we couldn't make it pixel though. I know we used to make emotes all the time, so. Alrighty, next question.
We're gonna have Deltarune collab, and Susie's just like, Chris, where are we?
Oh my god, Deltarune would be crazy. Have Chris as a character. Have Azrael as a playable character. Oh man, Azrael as a support would be awesome.
Okay.
Before we get to the next question, I just see this one. Hi, who's your favorite unit from TR? It is Gilnia. He is our poster child for the project. Always will be. Favorite character, continue to be. Alright, next question.
A question from Keshern the Lestin Slayer. Will you be showing any pre-alpha footage?
Not today, no. We probably will be showing more come December. This upcoming update for the recovery reduction, we'll be showing some new gameplay additions, but it won't be compromised of what I would say is like a complete playtest demo experience. We still have a lot to go for before we can comfortably say we're at that point, but come December, we're going to have much more to discuss on what we can do to allow not only the dungeon to be playable to the community, but what our next steps in getting from test demo into pre-alpha would be.
Next question is from Mr. Tect, in parentheses used. A more lighter question, do you have any intention of reskinning spheres? All the original spheres were literal spheres, but later on they got some cool designs. I wonder if you want to rename or reskin some.
It hasn't been an initial thought, honestly. My only thought with spheres at the moment is just prioritizing that we have 2 at the beginning of the game's quest. That way there's a lot more variety in terms of the squad management and building potential. As far as the visual sides of it go, I don't think it's going to be utmost necessary at this moment. Maybe once we get to later stages in the game, like 6 and 7 stars, where spheres are a bit more diverse in their visual style, having the sphere, we may switch it up a little bit to add a little bit more uniqueness to each item. That way it's not scrolling through 50 of the same item with different text descriptions. You'll be able to kind of highlight and pick out that exact item just a little bit easier. But for right now, it's more so just an afterthought.
I think they could put Dust in this game.
That's what I was saying, Dust and Fidget.
Oh yeah. I didn't hear it. Alright, next question is from Draco Shot 2. Have the summon rate been figured out?
No, summon rates have not been figured out yet. More than likely, we'll try and keep the summon rates fair and balanced for all players. We want to make sure that when a new unit drops, it's not going to be a struggle to get the unit. No more 1% chance drop rates, thankfully, because we're not having to play behind a paywall anymore because we're all community funded. I would like to say that a new unit coming out would more than likely safely have at least a 5 to 10% drop rate, and depending on how the team feels going into the future, we may have a pity system to where after you do 10 summons, you just get the unit regardless. We don't think it's going to be utmost necessary to have a pity system because of just how many gems are going to be given out to the players. So it's still on the table for right now. Nothing solid and concrete just yet.
Next question is from Blaze Aegis Iaston. As someone with no experience in programming, what would be the most important thing to begin studying to start assisting on the project within the next year or two?
Godot script. Godot script and C#. Those are going to be the two main languages, or sorry, C#, C++, just C language as a whole, and Godot script. Those are going to be the main factors in becoming a coding developer for Recoded, as it's our primary languages, and Godot script can take a little bit of time to get used to, so better to get started now, later than never. We don't anticipate Recoded ever shutting down, of course, it's always a possibility, but starting now means that by the time maybe we get to alpha status or beta, you may have the knowledge ready to where we can give you some lower end tasks that are of novice level to where you could be a more participating member of the team. So C++, C++, C#, Godot script, and then need to have a little bit of knowledge of Docker and Node.js, no JavaScript. Additionally, we'll be opening up applications back in December. We may be opening them up a little bit sooner, maybe in like November, so keep an eye out for that. But by the end of the year, coding applications will be reopened.
Okay, next question is from Maddie Howells. Like Yu-Gi-Oh! And ZZZ, will you guys make restrained versions of older characters, new art/animations, etc.?
I'm sorry, what was it? New what?
Make restrained versions of older characters.
Restrained?
New art/animations, etc.
Oh, retrained. Oh, probably not.
Retrained.
Probably not exactly. The idea with having newer units, we wanted to take the Brave Frontier 2 units and introduce them into Brave Frontier 1 as a completely separate entity. Of course, with the exception of if that unit is part of a previous evolution line, like if there's Carl from Brave Frontier 1, but then Carl from Brave Frontier 2, they would be two separated Carls. You would have units in Series 1, which would be Brave Frontier 1, of course. Series 2 being all the Brave Frontier 2 units, and then any other series that we would have, whether that's Persona or Last Summoner. We want to try and make sure that all the units have some continuity with them, because there is so many duplicates of each other. Like, I think there's 5 or 6 different versions of Tillith. So, not to say that we couldn't retrain our own version of Carl to have him be like a recoded series version, but it's not something that we're going to prioritize for quite a long time. Are you able to see the YouTube questions? There was a pretty good one. Do you have YouTube pulled up as well, Jocab?
I'm gonna have to do that.
Don't worry, YouTube frogs, we're coming for you. We got you.
Alright, next question is from Endersoul. For item storage, will there be an additional tab/area mainly for exclusives/events, whose purpose is to act as an extra storage to safeguard them from being sold accidentally? Or will those special items be locked from being sold by default?
So this was a system that was already in place with the original Brave Frontier, where you could have a favorites on your items. This was only limited to spheres, unfortunately, so we would just simply expand that to where it could now be applied to items, whether that's something base game or event exclusive. As far as having those items carry over into the next event is something we would have to do a little bit more research on, but more than likely, if you had an event item from January, you would be able to carry that item over until next January to where you could either fuse it into something that was for that event or sell it because it was a high resource item, whichever the player prefers. But yes, a favorite system for items will be returning.
Alright, next question is from Mega Twist. Are you gonna host servers to re-implement the different area modes?
By different area modes, I'm gonna assume that means like raid and arena, like multiplayer.
Arena modes.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, we are gonna be having servers again. That's why we want to try and prioritize Recoded being an online format rather than putting all of our resources into offline, because there's so many big components like the friend system, arena, raid, frontier hunter, and so much more that does rely on online functionality. As far as how and when the servers will be up and managed is all still a time to tell. I would like to have hopefully around like 100 to 200 people to start once we get the server up and running. As far as how expansive those servers are going to allow us to be is realistically going to come down back to the developers on what content is available at that time. So again, if we have arena ready, then we'll try pushing servers for arena first. If we have raid ready, then we're going to try pushing servers for raid to get ready on that, and then so on.
Alright, next question is from Shiroku. Are you going to make a way to change the type of a unit, like changing anima to Rex?
Yes, this is something that will be returning at the very start of Recoded. This was something that was introduced towards the end of the game's life cycle called Mystery Frogs. It was a green frog that you could obtain through either the merit shop system or through a daily login giveaway or some other sort of event. Mystery Frog would have a 1 in 5 chance to change your typing into either an anima, lord, or sorry, 1 in 6. Anima, Lord, Guardian, Oracle, Rex, or Breaker. Those will all be returning, with the exception of the Rex Frog to start, because Rex is just a little bit too strong in the beginning. We do still want to have it as an option later on in the game's life cycle, but for right now, we want to limit it to just the original types. Anima, Guardian, Breaker, Lord, and Oracle will all have their own unique Mystery Frog available inside the merit shop for players to purchase once a month.
Alright, so I can't see the YouTube questions, it just doesn't load for me.
Not loading for you?
Unfortunately, the chat just doesn't load. So if you have a question, send it in Discord. I just can't see it.
Let me take a peek.
Okay.
I hope, from Ben noticing, I hope fusing evolution can be done with more than 5 items at a time. If we have materials for evolution, let it evolve without needing to add 5 items 20 times. This is a good question. This is a very good quality of life change we could definitely look into the future. I know this was a semi-problematic thing as far as like time consistency for the game, so we'll definitely take a look at that. I wonder if it's just the YouTube stream that's dying. Let me see. Let's try this. See if that makes it a little bit more stable for you guys over on YouTube. Even if the video's all like cut and choppy, we'll have it up on Twitch so I can pull it from there and then re-upload it to YouTube in the event that audio or video is a little bit scuffed. Let's see. From Dipolar Bog 69123, what percent would you all say the game is at concerning a release of the game? So this is a question that's get asked a lot. From the playtest demo standpoint, for where we're at, I would like to say we're comfortably at around maybe a 30 to 40%, possibly even pushing 50. As far as Brave Frontier as a whole goes, we're barely even scratching the surface. Like, maybe not even 2% yet, because Brave Frontier is such a massive game, and even including all the other titles like Brave Frontier 2 and Rexona and Last Summoner, if you want to include all of those as well into being recoded, we barely even scratch 1% yet. As unfortunate as it sounds, it's just Brave Frontier is such a massive game that it's not only a massive undertaking for all the developers, but just for the community as a whole, because we understand there's the patience on you guys on, well, when's something going to come out, when's it going to be released, but there's just so much to work with that we don't want to give it to you bare bones and kind of just call it a day. We want to make sure that it's something that's finished, something that's complete, and something that we're ultimately proud of sharing with you guys.
Okay, a question from Dragon Hero. So the alpha testing starts late December?
Late, not alpha testing. Alpha testing is still coming way later on. It will probably be a private test demo or public test demo coming next December, not this current one. So it will more than likely be December of 2026 for a public test demo. 2027 would be pre-alpha, 2028 alpha, 2029 pre-beta, 2030 beta into full release. If you wanted like a breakdown like year by year, that's the current envision having right now. Doesn't mean it's going to be guaranteed, but that's just what the plan is right now.
Question from Sammy Songs. Hi Neily and Jocab questions. Question, what are your plans for tweaking the original game's balance, taking into the account the complete removal of microtransactions?
So we're going to be introducing more summon gates as the game goes on. We want to make sure that players have the opportunity to get a true 100% in their playthrough, like most people wanted to in the original game. Sadly, they got held back because of limited time events or exclusives, or simply just got paywalled because it's too expensive to get into. In Recoded, we want to make sure that every player has the opportunity to get a true 100%. That means getting every unit, every item, every quest completed, you name it. With Recoded, we want to make sure that the balance is a little bit more linear compared to the original game, as once we got to the 5 to 6 star era, we started to see massive power spikes going in through the story and just the units as a whole. We want to try and make sure that everything's more linear to start, going from 3 stars, working our way up slowly, while also keeping more detail on what units are a little bit more overpowered compared to their other predecessors or other people within their star rarity. So we don't want to have a 5-star hero having the strength of a 7-star hero, essentially. So our first step in doing that will be our next update coming up, which is the recovery reduction, which we'll be looking at to massively reduce all the recovery stats of all units. That way healing and healing abilities like healing on spark, heal over time, or even just your items at the bottom, your cures, your holy lights, all those are going to have a much more impactful value on your playthrough experience, while also not making it too more difficult either. We want to add more impact but not take away from the overall challenge.
All right. Another question from Duality, the Uncertain. Will there be any updates to the friend system, or will it remain 100 points and using friends leading units for the sixth slot?
The friend system is going to be staying mostly the same. We have some changes coming with our player account progression system, where rather than players having to spend gems to have more friend slots, they're now instead going to be earning more of those friend slots on their way from levels 1 to 100. friend slots will still remain at 50 to start, and then players can gradually increase their friend count up to 100, depending on how the team handles it internally on managing 100 friends per one account. It could be something that later on down the lines we look at to expanding to maybe 150, 200, or 250 even. For right now, though, it's going to be staying the exact same. As far as how you're going to be adding those friends exactly, we're not 100% sure just yet. It could be a matter of going through adding their username, or after you complete a quest with them, you could send them a friend request directly after that match, or may even return to the old system where players have a ID linked to their account, and then they would just have to share their, essentially their player code to be able to send a friend request.
Another question from Endosalt. This one's for me. Update 25 mentioned duplicate audio files. Roughly how much storage space has been saved after the removal of duplicate files and trimming and etc. I wouldn't be able to know, like, trimming? Okay, first of all, there's so audio has sample rate and bit rate and all that stuff. We normalized every single piece of audio to 128,000 bit rate or sample rate. I actually made two versions. I made 256 and 128 for the devs to use at their discretion. I don't know which one they prefer to work with, but if we take the smaller file size of 128, because the lower the sample rate is, the smaller the file size is going to be. We have saved 7.763 megabytes. I think that's a lot.
It is a lot.
For video games, you want to go for the least storage possible. Fortunately, games get incredibly big these days. I still think optimization is incredibly important. And 7.763 megabytes in audio files, yeah, like Blaze said, is definitely a lot. Also, will those renewed sound files eventually be available to download as an addition to the Grand Archive?
We can definitely make that happen, yeah.
We can do that, yeah. There's not much difference. It's just like audio file level of detail, let's say. But if you want the sounds, yeah, I can just...
I think the music would be, I think the music would definitely be something worth updating, because we fixed all the skips and gaps.
Yes. So thank you very much for the question. Very happy I could hop in, answer a question.
I see our back-end server developer Afterlife in the chat, and he does make a good reminder for everybody. Always remember, quality of life features, like having a separately settable helper unit, is always possible to add in later on. Very good note.
Alright, next question is from Devin JP. How much have you guys been rebuilding the engine from the ground up sprites and all? Or have you been able to reuse assets directly from the original game?
So we've been using a lot of the assets, like the art assets. As far as actually having those assets running and performing, was a whole different battle that I can't speak too heavily on, as I'm not as well versed in the coding side of things as much as like Blue or Afterlife are. But we did have to go through and recreate a new system to allow SAM animations, which are called like super animated motion, I think something along those lines. And we had to recreate a system to allow those files to be played and recoded, and through our genius developers on the coding side of things, they managed to get not only all the unit sprites working, but come the end of the year, we're going to have much more to show off, like Brave Burst effects, boss animations, and much more.
Alright, next up, from Cass Hearn. Will we be getting Discord roles if we participate in the alpha, and will they be permanent so we can be remembered as alpha testers?
I think that would be a better way of doing it. I know people discussed before about having a alpha or beta tag attached to their profile in game. I don't want to do that simply for the reason stated previously of having exclusivity and not being able to obtain everything in the game possible. Having a separate Discord role for that, though, I think is appropriate and at the very least fair from both sides. That way, again, like you said, you, the player, are remembered for participating in the alpha or beta, but at the same time, not putting a little bit of like FOMO on any new players that did miss out during those trial stages of development.
All right. Next question is from Dragon Hero. How long do you think it would take for Grand Gaia, for example, to finish up to get to Ishgria? Since I know the game is starting with just Mistral.
Yeah, so Ishgria is going to take a long, long time. I would like so let's look at it this way. I would like version 1.0 of Recoded to be, you can go all the way up to Creator Maxwell, you fight Juggernaut, you fight Demon Abaddon, you fight Maxwell, and maybe even we push it to where you can do Carl or Groddon's trial. After that, it would probably come down to our 3-month rotation would be where we would look into adding a whole new continent to the quest board. So if we were to go along with our 3-month cycle, and this is saying that we add a new content for each update, doesn't mean that's guaranteed, we're just saying a hypothetical right now. If we were to go that route, there is, I believe, 14 different chapters in Grand Gaia, and of those 14 chapters, there's some that have 3 continents all on one map, so it could take anywhere from 3 to 5 years, or maybe even 10 plus years, but it's probably not going to be that hard, because once we realistically get the foundations of the quest builder set and finished, it's more so just going to be a matter of recreating the JSON files to run that specific dungeon, display those units and backgrounds and such. So while I don't want to say it's going to be something that takes forever, it's something that's definitely going to take a lot of time, at least maybe a 2-3 year window, just to get close to that end goal. Because again, you have to remember, a map like Mistral doesn't contain just Mistral. It contains Mistral and Saint Lamia and one more map. I think Cordelica is the name, or that might be the map that comes after it. But in those maps where it's 3 maps in one, you could look at that as a whole separate chapter piece and per update. So one whole continent could take a year to add, and making sure that there's no bugs, everything's running smoothly as we want it to operate, and so on. So bit of a long answer, but it is very much just up in the air, and will ultimately have to be decided once we get to that point.
All right. Next question is from Tyrod Helm. Is there any non-dev labor that you need that would assist with the project? Animators.
we could use some animators. Animators would go pretty hard.
Animators.
I was thinking of maybe opening up a separate PR team just to help lighten the load of community messages that we get on our website, because between me and Jocab, it's a lot. And even once we do get it managed back down to a reasonable size, it fills up extremely quickly. Like, within a week, we have another 100 messages asking a lot of the same questions, but a lot of like same-ish questions as well. So that might be something I look into in 2026. That way we have a little bit more consistency on our website, because I know there's probably a good bit of people that are upset that that their questions rather are not getting answered in a more timely fashion. So we do want to try and make sure that there is that open line of communication, and that players and the community don't feel like that we're kind of like barring them off in a sense. So that'll probably be something we look into come 2026. As well as we would probably look into having that be an open application as well. So it may coincide with when we release our coding applications once more.
Next question is from Devin again. Do you think this will ever go open source? Say the project gets shut down, what about servers? Is it planned for it to be exclusively hosted by you guys? Like, will there be ability for offline?
We do want to have offline functionality at some point. We're not sure exactly how we're going to approach that just yet, because we do want to keep in mind things like Arena and Raid unfortunately won't be available in that offline format. As far as hosting your own server, this was something that Blue discussed in a previous update video on players hosting their own servers. Whether that was they wanted to just have a private instance on their own to go more into the source code and experiment on their own behalf, or if they wanted to host a private server similar to like how Warcraft servers are, to where it's only a strict amount of players that can access that, to allow for like mods or custom characters, custom maps, content of the such, is something that we've discussed. We're still very, very far from being able to even see what paths we could take with that, but it is something that we have discussed and is on the table.
All right, another question from CG38. Wait, how are you are gonna have servers if there's no money to keep the servers alive?
That will more than likely be coming out of the pockets of the developers, primarily myself. That's something that I think I'll be able to handle relatively stably. I do already have 2 servers just in storage waiting to be put to use. So as far as the uptime cost is going to take, I do plan on upgrading my house a little bit, have like solar panels and stuff to kind of reduce the energy cost of running those servers and such. And again, primarily coming out of developers' pockets, but more so my own, and just whatever income I have I can put towards it will more than likely be the limiting factor of how much money I can put into it, or just how much money the development team can put into it to allow for either a 1 to 200, 500, maybe even like 1,000 players online at once. It's still very in the frameworks of how we're going to be going about that, but it is something that we have been cautious of, and we're very aware of it being something we have to keep a note of.
All right, this next question contains spoilers.
Additionally, one more thing too.
Okay.
Since I have 2 servers, that does mean that there would also be a backup server in the event that one does shut down. So if for whatever reason Recoded does go offline for 5-10 minutes, I'll probably get blown up by like 100 pings, people saying like, Neily, the server's down, go fix it. And then I'll just go swap a cable around, and then there we go. Recoded's back online.
Next question contains story spoilers. Plug up your ears if you don't want to hear it. This is a fun question. In the storyline, Lucius is a god who sought absolute balance in the world, but every single time he screwed countless people up in the process. Does that make it Thanos? Feel free to discuss.
Does that make it Thanos? Oh man. I'm not gonna answer or get too much into community drama or whatnot, as it's not my place to say, and I don't want to